On Masvingo, Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Ezra Chadzamira, where they discussed the ongoing projects and areas of further cooperation.
We have established 17 centers, and one of which is here in this province. And we have contributed in Chiredzi also for farming techniques. You know, that's a dry climate, so we contributed $1 million from India-UN Development Partnership Fund for climate resilient agricultural practices.
Masvingo North legislator Honorable Brian Mudumi said the focus is on empowerment through export trade, while Masvingo Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution Honorable Ezra Chadzamira took the opportunity to market investment opportunities in the province.
We invited him here to get lessons, learn and see if we can develop ours, and as we empower our people through cooperatives. This is in line with our President's vision of establishing rural business units.
Notenda zvikuru nekuuya kwaita ambassador weIndia akatakatarisa kuti tichange tichigwidzana nawo panyaya dzezveagriculture, panyaya dzezvemining and tourism, anova mapazi atakatarisira.
Zimbabwe and India enjoy cordial relations and cooperate in various sectors of the economy, including health, education, agriculture and mining, among others. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Negotiations are underway for a possible coalition in South Africa after none of the political parties secured the much-needed 50% plus one parliamentary seat to form the next government.
The confirmation of results of the South African general election have paved way for political formations to engage in frantic talks with the new parliament expected to sit and elect a president within 14 days. None of the political parties garnered enough seats to form a government on its own, with the ANC having 159 seats, followed by the DA with 87. In third place is MK Party with 58 seats and EFF in fourth place with 39. The rest of the seats are shared by other smaller political formations. Political analysts have been debating the likely course of action amid indications of a possible coalition.
This has been the toughest bout of elections for the ANC, but the story is not over quite yet, because the ANC could yet form an alliance with one or two parties that have the seats they need to form a coalition government. The biggest losers in this election would have to be the parties that signed the multi-party charter and vowed to unseat the ANC and also vowed not to work with the EFF. They are now caught between a rock and a hard place, so to speak, because they would either have to swallow their pride and work with the ANC or watch the ANC form an alliance with another party.
The trajectory that the South African political parties with the ANC having the most votes but not an outright win means that they must go for a coalition government, a government of national unity of sorts with the political players. And coming into the picture, the choices that the ANC are going to make in this critical 2-week period before the deadline of constituting an effective and efficient government of national unity with the president being elected.
Likely options include a coalition between ANC with just over 40% of the seats and the other parties with shared government responsibilities. Formation of a government of national unity is another option, where the ANC is expected to invite all the other parties to sign a pact to support each other, in the end sharing executive duties and parliament. The establishment of a minority government has also been mooted, where parties elect a government without an agreement and each party fields its candidate for president.
Well, interesting developments there. We will continue monitoring the events as they unfold and will also be keeping you updated right here. Zimbabwe is set to host the SADC Region World Environment Day commemorations, with delegates expected to deliberate on the challenges faced by member states as a result of drought-related issues.
The SADC Secretariat and development partners, which include the United Nations and environmentalists, will converge in Harare for the World Environment Day commemorations this Wednesday. The commemorations, which will be held at Pomona Waste Management Site, will look at a number of issues facing the SADC region and the African continent due to environmental challenges worsened by climate change.
This was an eyesore dump site. As you can see, it's now being transformed into, at the same time, from a productive side to ensure there is a circular economy, from waste to energy, from waste to recycling and reducing. You can see it on this side. This is where the SADC Secretariat and the UN, together with the government of Zimbabwe, felt it's a good platform to showcase what we are doing on a sustainable trajectory.
Pomona Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Dilish Nguwaya, highlighted the significance of the day as Zimbabwe works on its transition to green energy and sustainable environmental practices.
We feel honored by the United Nations and the SADC Secretariat to come and host World Environmental Day here. We are aligned with United Nations sustainable goals. Goal number 13, talking about climate change. Goal number 7, which talk about clean energy. We are also going to construct state-of-the-art waste-to-energy plant here, which align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
This year's theme, Our Land, Water, Land Restoration, Desertification and Drought, places emphasis on strengthening drought resilience mechanisms, adaptation and mitigation. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Viewers, please note that due to a system maintenance, you may be experiencing intermittent service on the ZBC channel 280 on DSTV, and we apologize for any inconvenience caused.
Now, for more stories, you can visit our website. That's www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also visit our social media pages on X, Facebook, and our YouTube channel at ZBC News Online.
And here are stories still to come. In business, Zimbabwe's economy on a growth trajectory as machinery dominates imports. And in sport, government and its partner procure equipment required for the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium. We'll be back with those stories and more. Stay with us.
That's it. The regular football season is over.
What?
Yes, it's over.
No! Oh, no.
But not for us here at SuperSport. We've got a big deal coming your way.
Sorry, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Catch all 51 games of Euro 2024. Stay connected to DSTV to watch all the action on SuperSport.
Promotion it's jumping into
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us now. This will be definitely a game changer in Zimbabwe's education sector. Government is working on modalities for science-related subjects to be taught in vernacular languages recognized in the Constitution. Now, this comes after the launch of elementary science terms as part of the heritage-based learning.
The Midland State University's National Languages Institute has translated critical science terms into the country's 16 official languages, including Braille. The move is meant to create a platform and new avenues for innovative minds to shine.
In the future of this country, we would want to see pupils learning in their languages. And through learning in their languages, they are able to think, they are able to innovate. The industry of this country will grow as people innovate. But the barrier to innovation is the use of a foreign language. You know, when you want to kill a people, just take away their language and their culture from them. So the Second Republic is coming with a very good strategy to empower its people.
Government says the launch is a major milestone towards decolonizing the mind.
We are speaking of a liberation of a country. And we are speaking of today, tomorrow, and forever. Our job is the job to bring eternity to a nation. To say beyond us, there are people, because in our blood is the blood of the first person. Nyika haifi. Yes, baba wangu wakafa, but ropa rao ririmo. Sekuru wangu wakafa, ropa rao ririmo. When we begin to think so deep, and begin to think in eternity of a nation, we are beginning to know what education is about. And national liberation, what it is about. Tichataura physics nechikaranga kuskayati eke.
Our rich African philosophy advises us never to trust and rely on someone's jobs when hunting, as they eventually benefits will accrue not to you, but to the owner of the dogs. Similarly, the dividend for relying on foreign language is payable, in our case in Zimbabwe, to the Western world, and we are left with the liability of inferiority complex in the minds of our communities.
The launch of the elementary science terms glossaries dovetails with the Second Republic's inclusive development agenda, meant to ensure that every Zimbabwean is given a chance to contribute to the country's development trajectory. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
Those are exciting developments in the education sector. And now we cross over to our Montrose studios where Marilyn Gwenya is on standby. Good evening, Marilyn.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Tariro and Justin. And now in our following report, conservationists are rallying authorities in the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area to implement urgent drought mitigation measures to protect wildlife and ecosystems.
Gaza, which is made up of 5 countries, including Zimbabwe, is experiencing one of its worst droughts in decades. The dry conditions have led to dwindling water sources and vegetation cover, threatening the survival of wildlife populations. Although the region is grappling with unjustified restrictions in trade involving wildlife species and products, conservationists have implored the region to triple artificial water supply, research and lobby for tax incentives from respective governments to mitigate the effects of drought.
From the disaster fund, I think we requested for something like 3 million to boost our operations in terms of water supply for the animals when actually drought hits hard. We have got over 150 boreholes which are on the ground, and we have made some efforts to make sure that those boreholes, when push comes to shove, they will pump 24/7. Because we have secured some lithium batteries.
Governments in the SADC region can put in place supporting mechanisms such as even tax incentives, which are able to incentivize wildlife producer growers in this country so that they are able to produce wildlife food.
We need to build the resilience of the landscapes to climate change, the resilience of the communities to climate change, by innovating around a number of issues. I think sustainable game water management, sustainable water management for the communities, I think is very important.
It is hoped that by working together, conservationists, governments and Gaza authorities can develop and implement effective drought mitigation measures to protect the region's precious wildlife and ecosystems. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
The ZANU-PF Matabeleland North leadership has welcomed the cell restructuring exercise, saying it is critical in strengthening party processes.
The provincial leadership met at the weekend, where it emerged the ruling party is rolling out the cell restructuring exercise countrywide. The party leadership welcomed the move, saying the restructuring exercise should be embraced by all members of the ruling party.
ukwenzela ukuthi siqinise umhlangano wethu umhlangano weZANU-PF. Uqale namhlanje ngePCC lay next week kulama inter-district meeting kuma DCCs wonke, then kuleyani iviki elandelayo ngama inter-district kuma districts kulungiselelwa ukuthi kubunjwe ama cell registers ngoba zaba yiyo i-voters roll yama internal processes our party.
The ruling ZANU-PF party has stressed the importance of sound structures to achieve set objectives, particularly election promises. Mhlomuli Ncube, SABC News, Lopane.
The welfare of war veterans took center stage during a joint induction for the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Defence, Home Affairs and War Veterans, as well as the Thematic Committee on Peace and Security in Masvingo this Monday.
The Second Republic has made significant strides in improving the welfare of veterans of the liberation struggle, which includes setting up a standalone ministry. It is with this in mind that legislators and officials from the Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs Ministry have been implored to move with speed to put in place a legal framework for implementation of policies to improve their welfare.
Let the statutory instrument be there, which says all health centers or entities must offer the best medical care to the war veterans, so that where this doesn't happen, the law must take its course. Section 84 of the Constitution gives the respect of the war veterans a fundamental human right. In the Bill of Rights, in Chapter 4 of our Constitution, that must be respected and is non-negotiable.
Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Minister, Honorable Monica Mavunga, told parliamentarians that they are engaging various ministries to empower veterans of the liberation struggle and their dependents.
In line with the whole of government approach, the ministry is collaborating with other ministries to empower veterans and achieve the goals set forth in NDS 1 and Vision 2030. Through innovative partnerships and strategic initiatives, the ministry is paving the way for a brighter future for our client community.
Chairperson of the committee, Honorable Albert Nguluve, said the induction workshop was an eye-opener for the amendment of laws that ensure empowerment of veterans of the liberation struggle.
To us as a committee, it's going to be a priority, the welfare of the war veterans. It's not only the welfare. There are issues brought out by the war veterans. There's the issue that when a war veteran dies, his spouse, instead of getting the full pension which the main person was getting, is he or she is given 50%.
Delivering his State of the Nation address at the official opening of the 10th Parliament, President Emerson Mnangagwa tabled the need to amend the Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Act, among others. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
And our main news continues from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, where Tariro and Justin are on standby.
Indeed, thank you very much, Marilyn. Now, the Zimbabwe National Roads Administration has been steered into a new phase of ethical corporate governance after taking corrective measures to deal with several cases of irregularities. Owen Mandova gives us more.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Public Accounts this Monday applauded the Zinara board for dealing with cases of corporate governance and irregularities flagged by a forensic report by accounting firm Grant Thornton. These include procurement violations, tender irregularities, and financial mismanagement.
Zinara was a problem child. As spelled out in our report, there are several issues, about 64 issues that they were supposed to respond to. Issues of where corporate governance were not being respected. And I think we are very happy that out of the 68 issues that were flagged, there are now only 3 that are remaining. And the other 2, I think they satisfied the committee with their response. So we are now going to follow up on new issues that have now been raised by the Auditor General.
Board Chairperson Dr. George Manyaya said the checklist of imperatives to transform the organization has largely been met through a raft of reforms.
From our presentation, the Zinara board has managed to actually work on those recommendations they are talking about, the revisiting of contracts. We've noted that we now have contracts, and the issues that were raised by the parliamentarians, we've managed to actually resolve them.
Furthermore, Zinara Chief Executive Officer Mr. Nkosinathi Ncube said funds raised from revised toll fees are being channeled to Treasury for road construction.
The tariffs really, in as much as people may look at it from another angle, but the positive side is that it's helping to improve the infrastructure. And soon we will be sharing the figures, end of quarter, to make people see how much is being collected and where that money is going to.
The Zinara board, which has successfully extinguished the $206 million loan facility from the Development Bank of South Africa, is expected to further put the roads administrator in a firm financial footing to further finance national roads infrastructure programs. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Ties between Zimbabwe and Italy are evolving to spur growth in the two respective countries.
The Italy-Africa Summit held this year provided a platform for Zimbabwe and Italy to exchange notes on areas of engagement. Marking Italy's National Day this Monday, Italian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Umberto Malnati, said his country is looking to deepen ties in various sectors, building from existing cooperation in agriculture, construction and cultural sectors.
President Mnangagwa's visit to Rome and his participation in the Italy-Africa A Bridge to Grow Together Summit are clear signs of our growing relationship. The Mattei Plan focuses on 5 key areas: agriculture, water, energy, education and training, health. On all these 5 areas, we are already very active here in Zimbabwe. Italy is deeply committed to agricultural development. Our NGO COSPE is running a successful project in Masvingo to boost agricultural production and commercialization.
Representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Rufina Chikava applauded the existing ties, saying more should be done as Zimbabwe seeks to grow its economy.
Under the Second Republic, led by the President, His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe has opened its doors to investments from all countries in key sectors of our economy under our policy. It is pleasing to note that our 2 countries have and continue to cooperate in the economic sphere. The Kariba Dam War, the historical Kariba Dam War, is a key economic infrastructure and tourist attraction in Zimbabwe, which was constructed by an Italian company, Saline Imperigo SPA. The company also constructed the Tokwe Mukosi Dam and is still active in the country up to date.
Zimbabwe and Italy are looking at harnessing ties in agriculture, health and cultural sectors. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, in stories from beyond our borders, Claudia Sheinbaum has been elected Mexico's first female president in a landslide win. We get more from the following report.
The former mayor of Mexico City won the presidential elections with about 30 percentage points over her main rival, businesswoman Xochitl Galvez, in Sunday's election. In a victory speech, Sheinbaum said the landmark achievement, which sees her becoming the first female president in the 200 years of the Mexican Republic, is not just for an individual, but for all Mexican women. Ms. Sheinbaum became the first female mayor of Mexico City in 2018, a post she held until 2023 when she stepped down to run for presidency. She will replace her mentor, outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, on the 1st of October.
The Electoral Commission of India is expected to announce the official results this Tuesday after a voting process that ended on Saturday. Reports say nearly 1 billion people were eligible to vote in the 7-phase election that began on the 19th of April, ending on the 1st of June. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his National Democratic Alliance are looking at a third successive term in power, but the opposition also claims it has enough votes to form a government. The political party or alliance of political parties which wins the majority of parliamentary constituencies gets the chance to form the next government.
The BBC has released a list of debates that it will carry from the 7th of June ahead of the first head-to-head general election debate that will be hosted by ITV next week. The series from the biggest political parties in Great Britain. The leaders of the country's 4 biggest political parties will be involved in a 2-hour question and answer session presented by Fiona Bruce on the 28th of this month. Sophie Raworth will moderate on the last televised debate between Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer on the 26th of this month.
We'll return with business after these messages.
What's wrong? Needs a little something. Needs a little something. Needs a little something. Needs a little something. Needs a little something.
KFC's got the sauce. Introducing our spicy range flavored with Tabasco. It's finger-licking good.
Of facilities.
Since January, Zimbabwe has witnessed the commissioning of new industrial plants, mining projects, expansion of machinery units, infrastructure development projects, and modernization of productive sectors, coupled with the ongoing roadworks. The trend has seen the country shifting from being a supermarket of goods from other countries to a productive-oriented economy. This is reflected in information contained in the latest trade report, which shows that over 47% of imported goods in April this year are machinery, industrial supplies, and raw materials. Experts contend investments into the productive sectors will boost the overall value of goods and services being produced and offer employment opportunities.
It shows that we have more domestic companies that are starting to invest in our industrial sector. So it's a very welcome and positive outcome because historically we've had FDI coming into the country, but we are seeing more domestic players that are entering the market.
It shows that Zimbabwe is a productive economy, and we are looking to convert raw material inputs into products, which is a good thing. I think it's a good lead indicator for economic expansion, that we are actually localizing industry or domesticating supply chains.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has further endorsed the ongoing massive productive sector projects in the country, with its latest report showing that Zimbabwe's value of goods and services, or the gross domestic product, has increased to over 47 billion United States dollars this year from 16 billion United States dollars in 2018. Treasury statistics also show that Zimbabwe's economy grew by more than 5% last year and is expected to register an over 3% growth this year, despite the El Nino-induced drought. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Enhancing the global competitiveness of small business players through knowledge and funding dominated the discussions at the importance of formalization and collaboration in advancing their enterprises. With the inaugural expo having afforded over 60 SMEs an opportunity to network as they exhibited their products, the financial institution's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Elisha Chivori, said the bank strategically invested in empowering small businesses to advance economic growth.
In terms of our strategy, we are very vested in terms of the environmental, social, and governance issues. And because of this, one of the legs that we look at, the social aspect of it, all the over 65 SMEs that came here today did not pay a single cent in terms of exhibiting, and they also include customers and non-customers. So we look at it as our contribution to society and also for growth of the SMEs. We want them, when they come here, to be able to network, get suppliers, and also get customers. So it's something that we really value as ZB Financial Holdings.
Bulawayo Chamber of SMEs Chairperson Mr. Costin Ngwenya commended the bank for empowering SMEs as the country pursues an upper middle income society by 2030.
We commend ZB for doing that. This is the first one of its kind to be done by a financial institution, Bulawayo. So we really commend that. If we're at the right time, because our trust now is to grow.
ZB Financial Holdings recognizes the critical role SMEs play in driving economic growth and employment creation, hence the need to empower small businesses with the necessary tools and resources to succeed. Lisa Masu, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, Killer T is breaking new ground with his hit song Kanandanyura, cutting across generations and dominating the charts on Radio Zimbabwe and Power FM. That's our look at the arts.
As they say, numbers don't lie. It is no surprise that the #1 trending song in Zimbabwe is Killer T's Kanandanyura. The hit song, which is #1 on Radio Zimbabwe and Power FM chart shows, now has more than 2 million views on YouTube. Social media platforms, including TikTok, have been brought to life by the Kanandanyura challenge. Elsewhere, the legacy of the late award-winning Afro-jazz musician Bob Nyabinde.
Such an honor to have the young stars chipping in and sampling some of our father's stuff. It was such an honor to work with Dad during his last moments, even though we didn't know those were the last moments. It could have been nice if he would have witnessed the launch of the song.
Based on that report, we can definitely say Panishiri Kobuda in the sports, in the arts sector. Coming up next is the sports with Anashi Murombezi.
Kumba Plus Dust, the extra strong grain protector. More power for less money.
That's it. The regular football season is over.
What?
Yes, it's over.
Oh no.
But not for us here at Supersport. We've got a big deal coming your way.
Sorry, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Catch all 51 games of Euro 2024. Stay connected to DSTV to watch all the action on Supersport.
Promotion promotion.
It's now jumping into
ZBC Current Affairs, leading the conversation on local, regional and international news. We bring you the stories that shape the nation and the world. Be it social trends, economic and political developments, State of the Nation addresses, independence celebrations, Heroes and Defense Forces Day commemorations, and other national events. We bring them to you as they happen. With an array of informative programming, we bring you face-to-face with the decision makers as we unpack complex issues, giving you a platform to be part of the conversation. You can choose to face the nation and combat crime while talking farming. But remember to keep your vision 2030 during this new normal dominated by COVID Chronicles with ZBC Current Affairs. Together, Sonke, Tese, we will track and implement NDS1 to realize a better Zimbabwe.
Welcome to the Sports Corner. Anna Shemrombedzi here with the latest in the world of sport. A government and its partner Secunda Holdings have procured bucket seats for the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium. An interministerial delegation is in China on a pre-shipment assessment tour of the equipment.
The story side of seeing the national football team, the Warriors are playing their home matches away from home, has disappointed many in Zimbabwe. And this has prompted partners like Secunda Holdings to join hands with the government in the refurbishment works of the National Sports Stadium.
In that vein, an interministerial delegation has been dispatched to China to assess the bucket seats and other equipment needed for the upgrade of the National Stadium. It includes an engineer from the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, a technocrat with the Sport and Recreation Commission, and a representative from Secunda Holdings. The delegation visited Avant Sports Industries this Monday to assess progress as well as check on compatibility with FIFA standards.
The bucket seats are ready, and we are satisfied with what we saw. We did the measurements, they are good, and they are packed and good to come home.
The delegation also made sure everything meets international standards.
We are happy, we have seen the processes and everything, and we are happy with it. That is going to start to happening at the beginning of July. And the other works that are also going to be happening there include the water reticulation, the installation of the turnstiles, which also is associated with the bucket seats. All these works are going to be happening concurrently, such that come the end of this year, we hope the National Sports Stadium should be ready for use.
Avant Sports Industry is a reputable infrastructure manufacturer that has already done bucket seats and fittings for other international sports stadia like Uganda National Sports Stadium, Duvila International in Algeria, New Egypt Military Stadium, Czech Convention Center, and Norway Sports Complex, among others. The first set of shipment is expected in Zimbabwe within the next 6 weeks, while other civil works with regards to the fitting will start in the next 2 weeks. The National Sports Stadium has a number of outstanding issues for it to meet international standards, measures. These include the bucket seats, electronic turnstiles, as well as security and evacuation systems.
The first phase of the upgrade of the National Sports Stadium has already begun, with the civil works for the electronic turnstile already taking place at home, while also installation of the closed-circuit television cameras is also started. But the final phase will culminate in the installation of the bucket seats that are set to be shipped home in the next 2 weeks. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Dejo Shandong.
Foreign-based players have joined the Warriors camp in South Africa ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and South Africa.
Most of the foreign-based players except England-based Brendan Galloway and Tinesh Khadebe are now in camp. Reports from South Africa say Galloway is injured and still undergoing rehabilitation. Warriors defender Tinesh Khadebe will join his teammates this Tuesday after being excused to sign a contract with his new club. Italy-based Jordan Zemura arrived in South Africa Monday morning, while left-back Divine Lunga checked in after participating in the Nedbank Cup final at the weekend. The Warriors, who went into camp in Sandton this Sunday, will train at the High Performance Center in Johannesburg. Gyros Taperas Chargers will play their home-away-from-home match against Lesotho this Friday at Orlando Stadium, before facing host South Africa at Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein on Tuesday next week.
Still in football, but the women's version defending champions Herentals Queens dislodged the Black Rhinos Queens at the top of the Women Premier Soccer League after an emphatic 8-0 victory over Conduit Academy at the weekend.
Queens proved that their two-year dominance was no fluke after reclaiming top spot in the women's top flight. The defending champions, who went for the fourth outing trailing log leaders Black Rhinos Queens on goal difference, scored 8 times without reply to reclaim top spot after Rhinos' slim 2-0 victory over Faith Drive. Another yet-to-be-beaten side, Platinum Royals, were held to a 1-1 draw by visiting Harare City Queens to take their tally to 10 points, 2 behind log leaders Rentals, second place the Black Rhinos Queens, and Correctional Queens on third position. Chapungu piled more misery on struggling Shisham Queens in a Midlands derby after narrowly edging the Construction Ladies 1-0. Shams Therapy Queens and Mutare City are finding the going tough, having gone for 4 matches without a win. Debutants Hope Academy and Highlanders Royals played out to a 0-0 stalemate. The two sides have a resemblance, having won once and drawn once to take their points tally to 4. Highlanders Royals are 10th, while Hope Academy are 11th on the table. Mthokozisi Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Women football concludes the Sports Corner tonight. Now let's take a look at the weather report and forecast up next.
Hello Zimbabwe and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. Looking at our image, we had moisture that was over the western parts as we got out of the weekend, but by this morning it had drifted westward and was fading off into the eastern parts of the country. However, we're still expecting a southeasterly airflow over the southern parts, giving us cooler conditions over those southern areas. And as such, over tomorrow, whilst it's generally sunny and warm across much of the atmosphere, it should be rather cool over Matabele and south into Masvingo, as well as parts of Manicaland. Cloudy conditions are expected just briefly over the Mashonaland provinces, but not much to worry about there. For detailed forecast, our is projected to have a maximum of 26 with mostly sunny conditions, whilst Bulawayo is at 27 by afternoon, slightly cooler than it was today, whilst Gweru is at 26 by afternoon with a morning temperature of about 8 degrees. 9 is our minimum over Mutare in the morning, making it rather cold in the morning, but becoming warmer as the day progresses. Same for Kwekwe and Kadome, we're expecting a maximum of 28 and 30 respectively. For Masvingo, it's a maximum of 29 with a morning temperature of about 13 degrees Celsius. 12 is our minimum for Masvingo, going as high as 30 also for Lupani, which is in the warm category. 27 for Pindura Marondera, also cold in the morning, becoming warmer by afternoon. Maximum of 31 over Gwanda, making it also warm by afternoon. For Victoria Falls is a maximum of 27, whilst Kariba is at 32 by afternoon. Great Zimbabwe 29, which is in the warm category with a cooling breeze also over Great Zimbabwe. Nyanga, brief cloudy periods, especially in the morning hours, with a maximum of 24, 26 into Matopos. Chimanimani at 27 by afternoon, making it also into the warm category. For outlook period, it becomes rather sunny across much of the country. We were expecting it to be rather cold in the morning, becoming warmer as the day progresses, whilst the rest of the areas should be generally sunny and warm. That's all for our weather and forecast. It's been a pleasure, Zimbabwe. I'm James Kuma Jr. for the Met Department.
On that note, we've come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all the teams at Montrose Studios and Pockets Hill, have a good night.
Good night.
On today's edition of Inside Business, we are casting the spotlight on some of the market developments that are obtaining in the domestic market, such as the notable steady increase in diaspora remittances being witnessed by the country, looking at how this trend can further be bolstered given that diaspora remittances have increased their dominance as a strong source of foreign currency for the country, now anchoring the second position after exports. Among other developments, we are also going to have a snap review on the developments taking place in the local insurance industry, where there is notable decline in terms of confidence by the public in the uptake of insurance products and services.